What's up, everybody, and welcome to all the future viewers and anybody that might stumble across this channel. My name is Kyle, and today I am going to be introducing myself, of course, and be explaining some things that are actually going to be going on. So, I am actually an engine worker employee that has been with the company for 3 years now. Those who are in love with Jurassic Park and are dinosaur enthusiasts, you guys probably would have heard of the company Engine. So, as I mentioned, I've been with the company 3 years now. We are actually under new management. We're no longer looking to make parks that will end up failing in the end, of course, after the events of Jurassic World in 2015. We are actually under new orders to relocate all dinosaurs that has gotten loose around the world in 2018 after the eruption, the unfortunate eruption of Nublar. So, as I said, we are going to be relocating all dinosaurs around the world to Isla Sorna. Now, some people might, and some people may know, but Sorna is the second island and actually the most largest, which gives us the ability to house a large variety of species that would establish ecosystems all around the island. My team and I now work to make sure these our main objective here, me and my coworkers, is to make sure all the ecosystems are thriving, they're well managed, and we'll just let them be. So as I mentioned, this is a video of many, and we will call this series Site B Mode. This will be the only place in the world, and of course, I'm able to make all of this stuff happen because I got the green light from my superiors and my bosses and people in higher management. But this is the only video or the only footage in the world where you can observe these dinosaurs in their natural habitats and their natural ecosystems, and just kind of get an idea of how Isla Sorna is. So, as I mentioned, after the eruption of Isla Nublar, a lot of dinosaurs got onto the mainland and got into the hands of a lot of shady people. So going forward with this series in the future, for those who will be watching, you guys will not only see us on Isla Sorna, but you guys will see us make trips out into the mainland to round up any dinosaurs that need to come over to Sorna. The reason why we chose Sorna is because, as I mentioned, Sorna is one of the biggest islands out of the five deaths. Jurassic Park enthusiasts will know what the five death islands are, and it has enough room to house a variety of species. So I'm feeling really, really good about this series. I have a lot of things planned. I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of stuff. You guys are going to get a lot of intel on Engine, how we do our cloning, how we do our relocating, how we establish ecosystems, and this is going to be the best Site B mode series that you guys could ever actually stumble upon because it's the only place in the world where you actually can see these animals in the flesh. So as I mentioned, I do have a lot planned, but I'm just going to go over what the format will be for these videos. So going forward in the future, we'll pick a certain location onto Isla Sorna. A lot of people don't know, but not only is Isla Sorna a huge island, but it is also broken up into little small parts. For example, this little, you guys, we will visit many locations here on Isla Sorna, but sometimes we will visit singular locations that are kind of separate from the mainland. And this is the mainland. This is the main island that we're on now. But sometimes we will, as I said, we will visit singular locations that also have dinosaurs on it as well. And that little island over there is an example. But that island doesn't have any dinosaurs on it. It's just a little bit too small. So yeah. So as I said, we go around the world. We relocate dinosaurs. We reclone dinosaurs, and we set up a beautiful Site B ecosystem for these dinosaurs to coexist. And as I mentioned, the main format for these videos will be that we go around Isla Sorna, we see what's in the area, we talk about dinosaurs that are in the area, we observe them in their natural habitats, we observe how they act, and we go from there. So, enough talking. We're going to observe this proximity that I picked. This is actually a more calmer area here on Isla Sorna. I picked this location for a reason because I figured it would be a beautiful introduction for a first episode type of thing. So right now we're in a swampy type of area. We did just see a couple of suchomimuses. Just gonna scope the entire area out. I seen one suchomimus. This is this is a female. This is actually a male, and they are actually a mated pair. We keep tabs on all our dinosaurs around here, and here is one of their babies. Actually, they actually had three eggs. Well, three Suchomimus. There actually was three Suchomimus juveniles with this mated pair, but just like anything out in the wild, not all younglings always survive to maturity. So they've been keeping a close eye out on him because clearly they know that they have already lost two of their other babies. So, as I mentioned when this episode first started just a few minutes ago, I am super, super excited for this series. This was something, as I mentioned, I've been working with the engine company for 3 years now, and we've been doing a lot of hard work reestablishing ecosystems here on Isla Sorna and going around the world and finding dinosaurs out in the mainland and relocating them. So we've been working really, really, really hard as far as doing that, and I got the green light from my bosses to go ahead and share all of this footage with you guys. So this is stuff I'm super excited about. Uh, I was trying to figure out where the juvenile went, but we got all night. We'll come back to them. So we're gonna scope out the rest of this area. As I mentioned, the format for these episodes will mainly be us picking certain locations on Isla Sorna, seeing what dinosaurs are in those locations, and documenting footage on them. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so right here we have some ankylosaurs. Well, we have an ankylosaurus. This is actually a female ankylosaurus. I'm not sure if there are any more in the area. Uh, okay, yeah. So we have two more. So this is a male, and then this is a female. So we have a male with two female ankylosauruses. Um, Here on Isla Sorna, sometimes you'll see a lot of situations like this where you'll have one male dinosaur with two females. It just gives him the opportunity to breed with both. And that way he doesn't have to go head up with any other competition, such as any other male dinosaurs or anything like that. And you see that they, obviously share this little proximity with these Suchomimuses, but clearly these Suchos don't mind. You won't really see Suchomimuses butt heads with any other dinosaurs, mainly because they're fish eaters. So, if food isn't looking too good on the mainland, they can always resort to the water where there's plenty of fish life. So, anyways, let's continue down the stream and see what else we might run into. As you can see, we're in another swampy area right now. And one thing about these swampy areas, you never know what could be in the area actually. But the most important thing for us, no matter what is in the area, we just want to make sure we're never disturbing anything. And what we are recording with is actually our GoPro camera tech. It allows us to get up and close and personal with these dinosaurs without them knowing because they're like the size. Our GoPro cameras are like the size of a fly or something like that. So here we have two baryonyxes, well, two baryonyx. Um, You'll see often on Sorna is not uncommon for baryonyx and Suchomimus to share areas together as long as it's like, a huge water source. And as you can see, the Suchomimus were way down there upstream. So you'll see relationships like that a lot on Isla Sorna, you know, especially for fish eating type of dinosaurs. They never really have to fight each other for like herbivores that are out on the mainland because it's such plentiful fish in the water and stuff like that. So let's see which one is the female and which one is the male. It's kind of hard to see because they're a little bit submerged in water. Let me see. This is actually our male right here. And this is actually our... Oh, wait, no, this is our male right here. You can tell because his facial features are a little bit more prominent. Well, I know because we keep tabs on all the dinosaurs that are here, actually. So, but for, viewers that are just looking on, you can tell because our male is slightly bigger and his facial features are a little bit more prominent than the female. So sexual dimorphism is something, for the viewers that come on and stumble into this channel, sexual dimorphism is something that you'll be able to see pretty easy here on the island. And as I mentioned, these baryonyx, They might come in contact with the suchomimuses, but it's highly unlikely because of how big this water source is. And we're just gonna go back and check on our ankylosaurus. Uh-oh. So our ankylosaurs are making their way upwind to the suchomimuses, and if the sucos feel threatened in any type of way, especially the female will defend her territory or defend its baby. You guys will find that female dinosaurs here on the island are a lot more territorial than the males. If this is the male, he might feel the need to protect his female ankylosaurs. So we're gonna see how this is about to play out. I guess I should mention, as I said, we relocate dinosaurs onto Isla Sorna that got out to the mainland, and we set up nice ecosystems for them. But this is a Site B reserve, meaning that whatever these dinosaurs choose to do is up to themselves. What we do is that we repopulate and we relocate. When I say repopulate, I mean that if a species here on the island, if their count gets pretty low, we'll do what we can to repopulate that species so they don't fall into extinction. Okay, so we do have a fight that's about to play out. The Suchomimus makes the first attack onto the male ankylosaur, and I figured he was going to feel the need to defend his territory. Oh. But this female Suchomimus definitely has a job to do as far as defending her baby. We definitely wouldn't want to see her die, but it's not our job to interfere in fights like this. But as you can see, the female Suchomimus actually is scaring off the ankylosaurs. So, this is good footage for dinosaur enthusiasts to actually check out and document. So you can see the ankylosaurus still walking off with his tail high. Well, kind of lowered his tail now. So, first episode, I wasn't expecting any action to happen. As I mentioned, we picked this proximity on Isla Sorna to record in first because it's usually a calm environment. You don't really see too many huge or large carnivores here. You can see the female is probably a little bit dehydrated from her fight, but she definitely did a good job at protecting her baby, her juvenile. Surprised the father wasn't the one fighting. I'm not even sure where the juvenile and father went. But this is a huge water source. So, and as I mentioned, they wouldn't mind sharing this water source with the baryonyx or anything like that. So, and this female Suchomimus has already proved herself against the ankylosaur. So we're gonna see if she leads us back to where her mate is. I'm actually unsure where her mate is. Yeah, this is their nesting area, and I don't see them in the water at all or anything like that. So, but I'm pretty sure she'll catch up with him. So, anyways, we're gonna go out into the mainland now. This is as I mentioned, it's really more so of a swampy area. That's why you have Suchomimuses and baryonyx taking refuge in this area. But anyways, as I said, we're gonna head down to the mainland. We're gonna see what other dinosaurs are in this proximity. Now, as you can see, Isla Sorna is just filled with such beautiful vegetation, beautiful forestry areas. Okay, so right off the bat, we have some Pachycephalosauruses. These are female pachyes. You will hear me call them pachyes a lot. We also have a female Parasaurolophus right here. We have a baby, a juvenile Brachiosaurus. Where there's juveniles, parents aren't usually too far behind, so we're guaranteed to run into some adult Brachiosauruses sooner or later. We have some Corythosauruses in the area as well. One thing about some of these hadrosaurs and duck-billed dinosaurs here on Isla Sorna, you're gonna see them always take refuge amongst each other. This is actually a male Corythosaurus. You can tell because the crest he has on his head is a lot larger than what you'll see in the females. So we'll try to find a female right quick. Oh, here's the well, here's another. Oh wow, so here is a juvenile Parasaurolophus with, I'm assuming, his mother, because that's a female adult Parasaurolophus. So, you know, there's not really a designated mating season here on the island. Our females and males will usually mate with each other all year round, so you'll see a lot of juvenile dinosaurs running around, and it's so cute to look at actually. Yeah, this little proximity is abundant with life. Um, so we have a couple of juvenile Parasaurolophuses actually in the area, and they seem to be playing with each other. We also have some juvenile Brachys taking refuge amongst each other as well. So here are the beautiful adult Brachiosauruses grazing in this open land type of area. You can actually see this one is pretty scarred up, so I'm assuming, yeah, it's very scarred up. It must have survived an encounter with some type of predator. So here's our female Corythosaurus. I'm not sure if you guys will remember. This is a juvenile Corythosaurus as well, but we'll have to see a male and female together so you guys can really distinguish that sexual dimorphism. But if you remember how well, actually this might be a male right here. Yeah, so you can see the crest on his head is a lot larger than what it is on her head. So as I mentioned, one thing we've been, as I said, we do a lot of recloning here on the island to make sure the population of these dinosaurs stay intact. So we've been extracting as much DNA as we can from these fossils to bring out the most scientifically accurate dinosaurs to put on this island, along with going out to the mainland to relocate dinosaurs that got loose after the eruption of Isla Nublar, unfortunately. Let's see what else we have in this area. We have, oh wow, so we have a baby. Couldn't tell what that was, but I was surprised that juvenile was walking with this Carnotaurus pair right here. So we have a female and a male Carnotaurus pair. 10 times out of 10, they are a mated pair. The male is the more darker red one, and the horns on his head will be more prominent. As you can see, the horns on his head are more prominent than what the horns are on this female Carnotaurus head. So they've probably taken refuge in this area for the simple fact that it is abundant with life. You have juvenile Corythosaurs, juvenile Parasaurolophus, juvenile Brachys, male fully grown adult Parasaurolophus, and fully grown adult Corythosaurus is all over the area. So this could be a good nesting area for those Carnotaurs. Yeah, this area is crawling with hadrosaurs, and hadrosaurs make up, hadrosaurs, out of all the species on this island, hadrosaurs stay in huge populations, which causes them to breed the most here on the island. So you'll see a lot of predators taking refuge amongst, huge hadrosaur type groups. So we're going to continue to make our way in this proximity. As I mentioned a couple times already in this video, our format for these videos are just going to be us mainly just picking proximities, certain locations here on Isla Sorna, and showing everything that's in that area. And we'll go over some of the dinosaurs, mated pairs. We'll talk about some of the dinosaurs, and we'll also talk about other things too. I have a lot in store for this Site B series. So here we have a huge, beautiful male Triceratops. And where there's one male Triceratops, I could only assume he's around females as well. So here's a female, and here's another male. You can see that sexual dimorphism between both these beautiful animals. His horns come out a lot more outward, and his frill is way larger. That's already two males. You usually won't see more than two males in a herd of Triceratops. Here's another female Corythosaurus away from the other Corythosaurus that we just seen. And here's some beautiful Triceratops babies. So it seems that the Triceratops have taken refuge in a more secluded area, a little bit away from all the hadrosaurs. They are more solitary dinosaurs anyway, so they probably don't like all that noise. I mean, you guys seen, hopefully my audio picks up pretty well, but as we were over there with the hadrosaurs, it was kind of hard for me to even hear myself talk. Oh, crap. You'll see this a lot on the island. Dinosaurs just naturally interacting with each other. Female interacting with the male Triceratops. You got babies all over the place, playing and stuff like that. So let's see what else is in this area. So you got trike babies all over the place, feeding and grazing and drinking and playing around. Kind of the same thing with those hadrosaur babies, those corythosaur babies, and parasaurolophus. Well, let's just say parasaur babies that we just seen. And as I said, I can only assume that the trikes probably took refuge in this area because they're more they're solitary animals anyway. So probably just to get away from all that extra noise that hadrosaurs are known to make. So here we are back in our swampy area. Just want to see if any trikes. Here's our baryonyx. This is actually our suchomimus. This is the female. This is what I was, saying earlier. These suchomimuses, or let's just say sucos. The sucos don't mind sharing, spaces with the baryonyx because, the suco was actually a little bit more further upwind. Makes me wonder, where did the baryonyx venture off to? I feel like I just heard him roar though. Pretty sure they're around here somewhere, but food is so plentiful, as I mentioned so many times already. The suchomimus never really have to worry about. Here's a baryonyx. They never really have to worry about challenging each other for food or anything like that. Still wondering where her mate and her juvie went. I'm pretty sure she knows where they are. Okay, anyways, so we're gonna find another little area to go to here. I came back to this area because I can't help but to be curious as to where did her mate and her juvenile went after she fought that ankylosaur. But anyways, so we're gonna go to another little area here. We scoped out this area. We had a lot of brachiosaurs. We had some juvenile brachiosaurs. We had, a mated pair of carnotaurs in the area. I don't know if we'll see any hunts. I'm unsure if these dinosaurs already fed or not. Maybe we'll see a hunt. The juvenile is kind of spooked already with that female carnotaurus in the back. And don't tell me a juvenile is actually going over there. Sometimes these juveniles, they can be so dumbfounded. I thought that was a dead Pachycephalosaurus. We actually seen Pachycephalosaurus in this area as well. So but she seems to not be hunting. So I don't think we're going to see a hunt play out. But like I said, there's so much planned for this Site B type series. So you guys will see a lot of things. I will also post shorts on this YouTube channel as well, just so you guys can get a view of things that are happening where we're not recording videos or anything like that, or when we're not doing episodes. So now try to keep these episodes close to like 35 minutes. I feel like that's a good time length for everybody to, view these beautiful animals. So, okay, what do we have over here? So we actually have some Edmontosauruses, and it appears to be more Triceratops. Don't mind our scientists, one of our engine scientists talking to us in the background. Okay, so we have some juvenile Edmontosauruses as well. This is a male Edmontosaurus, the one with the larger crest, and this is a female with the less larger crest. This appears to be a juvenile Gallimimus. Here's a female Triceratops. So it seems that these Gallimimuses and Triceratops has chosen to take refuge away from the hadrosaurs. That area where the hadrosaurs were at is already heavily populated. What is this? We have sleeping baby trikes in the area. So yeah, so that isolated area where we were just at seems to not be the only place that Triceratops are seeking refuge at. We have more juvenile Triceratops all over the area. It just goes to show, how good, as I mentioned, Our job here is to just make sure these established ecosystems are doing good, and repopulate any dinosaurs that might get too low in the numbers. Because there's a lot of carnivores on this island. There's a lot more species of dinosaurs on this island as well compared to what the species count were back in '97 when Ian Malcolm did his species count, and back in 2001 when Dr. Alan Grant came onto the island of Isla Sorna to do his species count as well. So a lot has changed since then. The engine has changed since then, and me working here 3 years, I've learned a lot of what happened before I started working with the company of Engine, and I just have a lot to share with you guys, a lot of intel and stuff like that. So the population, these Edmontosaurus babies are so beautiful, but the population of dinosaurs are a lot different compared to what they were back in the early 90s, late 80s to early 90s. And there's a lot more species here on this island. And because, just as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, Isla Sorna is such a big island with, neighboring islands like that one, which is also a part of Isla Sorna. So it gives us the opportunity to not only repopulate on the mainland, which is where we are now, but repopulate on neighboring islands that are also a part of Isla Sorna's island chain. So here we have another, Edmontosaurus. It's very amazing. Here's a little bit of intel right here that the public might not know. But when Dr. Ian Malcolm did his species count back in '97, Edmontosaurus did not turn up anywhere on that expedition, that species count expedition. And it's so unfortunate because it was safe to assume that they were already extinct. So I say all that to say, we've done our due diligence by repopulating these Edmontosauruses, and as you can see, there's juvie Edmontosauruses all over the place, along with adults. So that just goes to show that they are absolutely thriving now. So here we have a family of Gallimimuses. We have juveniles mixed with adults. You guys, if it's one thing Gallimimuses like to do, they love to run, especially out in open land. So I'm surprised that they're actually seeking refuge here in deep vegetation type areas. It makes me wonder if there's any carnivores or anything like that roaming around. So we're just going to do another good thorough check of this little area. Other areas that we will explore in the future will be a lot larger than this. It's just okay. So we actually have a Ceratosaurus. Appears to be chasing something. This is actually a male Ceratosaurus. There's no female in the area, I think, so I won't be able to display that sexual dimorphism. Oh crap. So he actually just knocked down a baby. I'm not sure if he didn't kill it. The baby actually isn't dead. I can only assume the Ceratosaurus was hunting. He's probably scoping out the area to make sure there's no other competition in the area, but he didn't. Okay, let's see where he... Oh, okay, so he knocked another... Is that the same baby? Okay, yeah, so he finished off that baby Gallimimus that he knocked down a couple seconds ago. But, life finds a way. As Dr. M. Malcolm once quoted so wellly, uh-oh. I think that's a male Gallimimus, and he appears to be chasing off the male I'm assuming he was chasing the male Gallimimus away from the... Okay, so he's probably just trying to... I'm not sure if he's trying to keep the male Gallimimus away from the baby that he just killed. The male Gallimimus seems to be pretty neutral to it. Okay, yeah, so that's exactly what was going on. We have this baby trike that is, panicking right now, which it has every reason to be. So that could explain why those other Gallimimuses over in the trees were hiding, because there was a Ceratosaurus in the area, and we witnessed it just kill the baby. But the reason being why it probably didn't eat it was because it probably wanted a bigger meal. So but as I was mentioning before, we just seen him take down this adult male Gallimimus, was that you will see stuff like this play out all the time on Isla Sorna. It's not cruelty or anything like that. Our job is to find all the dinosaurs that we can that were out in the mainland and bring them to Isla Sorna and let ecosystems establish them, let ecosystems and territorial type dinosaurs establish themselves and let them thrive in their own natural environment. So let's just take this Gallimimus that was killed for an example and go back to what I was saying earlier. One of our main jobs is to repopulate dinosaurs that get too low in numbers. You know, a Gallimimus is not really a dinosaur that really is too low in numbers, but my point is that if, let's just say, a Gallimimus, for example, was hunted down to the point of extinction here on the island, we won't interfere with what's hunting them down. Like, we won't do anything to the carnivores that's hunting them. But if the species that's getting hunted goes too low, we'll repopulate them. So that's kind of the cloning and stuff that we do now. You know, we reclone dinosaurs when the species count of that, well, when the count of that specific species get too low. And this is something that's been going on for the past 3 years. I won't get into the details in this video on how I started working with the engine company, but let's just say the government was getting tired of all the dinosaurs that were out in the mainland, and they let engine work together as a company again, of course, with a lot of new workers that are no longer under the guidance of Dr. Henry Wu, and we've been allowed to access this lost island again, which is Isla Sorna. And later in other videos, I'll get into the Niffy Jiffy and the details about the well-being of Isla Sorna, because this is, for Jurassic Park enthusiasts that heard about the incident that happened in '93 and remember the buck Tyrannosaurus Rex that got loose in San Diego, and of course the incidents that happened in Jurassic World and the eruption of Isla Nublar in 2018. You guys haven't really heard much about what's been going on with the island of Sorna. And as I mentioned, I will get into a lot of that stuff in a later video to talk about the well-being of the island over the past, 2 decades. So we're going to get ready to wrap this video up in a couple of minutes. This is a video of many. This is only episode 1. Every video will be in a different area, and there's no telling what we'll see, what dinosaurs we'll encounter, what species we'll encounter, what fights may break out. I have a lot planned for this series. There's a reason, though I've been working with the company for 3 years and we've been doing a lot of tidying up, there's a reason why I chose to ask my superiors if I could start sharing this footage with everyone now. So, and you guys will see those, you guys will learn what those reasons are the more we get into a lot more of these, episodes that we have going on. Oh wow, so we have a dead Brachiosaurus here. I can only assume those two Carnotaurs probably teamed up on it, because it would definitely take two Carnotaurs to team up on a large dinosaur like a Brachiosaur. As we get ready to close this episode out, I just want to go back and search that Suchomimus area. As we've been recording this episode, I just can't help but wonder what happened to the juvenile and male Suchomimus after the female defended its territory against that ankylosaur. Did they start sharing their area with the baryonyx and I just missed it or something? So here we have a Sucho, but I can't tell if it's the female or male. Well, yeah, this is actually the female, so it'll be real unfortunate if the male and the juvie died. As you can see, this goes to show it's like in the actual wild when you have crocodiles sharing their areas with caimans or smaller crocodiles. The baryonyx and suchos don't mind doing that with each other. It don't mean it happens all the time on Isla Sorna. Sometimes you'll get a more solitary pair of baryonyx or a pair of Suchomimus that don't want to share the area with each other, but it's something that just really depends. And come to think about it, I actually don't see the second baryonyx as well either. We've seen the female, which is her, defend herself against, defend her baby against that male ankylosaur at the beginning of the episode, but we didn't see what happened to her since. We actually have the male baryonyx right here going on a feeding frenzy with some fish in the water. As I mentioned plenty of times already, fish is extremely plentiful here. which is why these guys don't mind sharing areas with each other. So I'm actually unsure. It's unfortunate because I want to see a little bit more of the juvenile Suchomimus baby. But I'm actually unsure what happened to him. I'll have to do a little bit of... Oh, okay, so here's the male Suchomimus who's still in the territory. I don't know why the female strayed so far away. And here's the juvenile Suchomimus. Okay, so I'm glad we seen them before we got ready to end this episode. So now it really makes me wonder why on earth has a female gone so far away from her mated pair? She probably felt really threatened by those ankylosaurs that she decided to go check the area out some more. As I already mentioned, you guys will see in this episode series that female dinosaurs here on this island are a lot more territorial than males. So I can only assume she'll come back. This huge water stream is connected with each other, and as I mentioned, baryonyx and Suchomimus, baryonyx and Suchos don't mind sharing certain proximities and certain water holes with each other. They're pretty neutral, calm animals. They can be aggressive at times, especially the females. So yeah, guys, so we're going to get ready to end this episode now. As I said, this is an episode of many, and this was mainly an introduction episode, which is why I spent a lot of time talking in the beginning. I'll probably spend a lot less time talking in the beginning and showing more dinosaurs as we get more into this series. And we're going to catch you guys later as we get ready to watch this male Suchomimus and juvenile. Juvenile is actually a female. Follow her dad and probably wonder where her mother ran off to. It was good we got to see them before this episode came to an end. So anyways, we will catch you guys on the next episode, which will be episode 2. Have a lot in store for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you.